So Uncouth.
I signed up to be a parent rep. I did, because there was no one. And you know what? And so I was like, oh, all right, I'll do it. And they're like, Crow, that's great. But what they don't know and they don't remember is that I have already been a class rep. And that was not a time of great administrative triumph. People were sending me WhatsApp groups of bing, ping, 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 ping. I remember I had COVID. The school burnt down in that time. And they were like, okay, the school's burnt down. Do we go to the classroom? What do we do? And I was like, do we go to the classroom? What do we do?
They were looking to you for some leadership and found it sorely lacking.
I mean, in the true spirit of like rep, as in representative, I presume, you were representing the class's concern.
Confusion. You represent confusion.
Yeah.
Panic.
Yeah.
General upset.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what this is, welcome to So Uncouth, a podcast filled with conversations you can't have in polite company. I'm Victoria Hannaford, a recovering journalist. I'm with Caroline Craig.
Hello.
Hello. Actor. And our friend, the mysterious Bunsen Burner, who loves science so much, she's literally part of its essence.
So Uncouth.
Now, if you're wondering, is this some anti-wokery and anti-PC chat? And thank God I finally found somewhere beyond Sky and Fox News and the Joe Rogan verse where I can let my hair down. You might be in for a rude awakening, because that's not quite our bag. I think probably the best way to describe it is that we are three friends who could possibly be considered a bit much for those outside of our inner circle.
True.
So this is where we air it all.
No, at points in time where we have lived in the same capital cities, which has occurred, it's been a lot. So we live in 3 different states.
Some would say too much. And also I'm unwilling to get help for my psychological issues. So this is my only option, I think.
So you've driven us over state lines, Victoria. No, we're sharing the love.
If anyone is listening, welcome. And we will be having conversations about matters of high and low stakes, and maybe things that my mother would deem uncouth, especially for a lady. And that could mean it's a solid hour of fart gags.
Which, of course, being referred to as Bunsen, I'm the fart gag queen.
We'll be delving more into the true meaning of Bunsen and other elements of your mystique. We'll see what we can get out of you. All right, so I've got a quiz to kick us off.
Excellent.
And I did not cover myself in glory, but I want you guys to tell me, fill in the blanks. I may have yelled at my own mother.
Was she uncouth?
In the past week. Well, I was.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll get into it. So where have you gone, Caroline? Is it too uncouth?
She just couldn't cope with you. Yeah.
She's lost it. She's had it. So I yelled at my mother, what are men better at? Having a blank. What did I say?
Can you give me a slightly more context, as in what was the sentence that preceded it?
Okay, this is a riposte to her saying men are better at that, which was like fixing some silicone seal around a kitchen sink. She said men are better at that, and they're better at managing things, and they're just better at some things.
And so you said,
what are men better at? Having
I think I
what?
know. Pleasuring themselves,
that's
Victoria.
pretty much
What
what almost came out of your mouth, isn't it?
Having a wank.
Having a wander down a memory lane.
No. I actually think what I said was worse. Bunsen, would you care to guess?
Having I don't know. Well, now I'm just kind of going.
You can't think of anything beyond wank, can you?
No, like
no. I said having a penis, which I actually think is worse. Saying the word penis to your mother. And there were children in the room, and they laughed because
Did they have peni? The children.
One of them has a penis and found it extremely funny.
Did your mother find it funny?
No, I cracked it.
And were you at this point in time attempting to put silicone around a sink?
No, but I would have. I was saying to her, this is all you need to do. Just get like a Stanley knife, cut it out, and then go and get some silicone, put it back in, right? And if she
trying to get her to go to Bunnings.
Well, we'd just been there.
Yeah, what are men better at going to Bunnings, getting a sausage at Bunnings?
Been going to Bunnings.
It's a destination experience, Bunnings. I went there like a couple of months ago and took a friend who is known to the two of you guys and my dog, because you can take dogs to Bunnings. And then, so we first of all, we stopped off. We had a sausage. Great. Then we're going to getting our whatever, there's a lot of aisles. Anyway, and then we heard this sound that was unmistakably the sound of a goat bleating. And our friend dropped her bundle and then went running in search of the goat. And there was a full petting zoo
being
in
minced
the
into
Bunnings.
sausage?
And anyway, I took several photographs of her with a hairbrush combing goat and a small miniature pony that was also in there. And then, we'd been there for so long, we stopped off and we had a coffee at the Bunnings Cafe. I tell you what, we were there for like 2.5 hours.
Best day of your life.
Did you ever spend any money?
I bought a maidenhair fern that sits in my bathroom, brown, dead, as a reminder of the fact that I just can't keep anything alive.
So uncouth.
But back to your point, Victoria. Were you wrong to yell at your mum? Was that it?
Well, what would you do? I mean, like my mother, I don't know whether she's always been like this, but it's like her social development, like not how she socializes, but how she views society stopped in the 50s.
That men are good with a tool belt.
Men are just maybe better.
At everything?
I think that's how I hear it. Like, and so I do find it like a little bit offensive, like to my face, because I feel like.
And yet I'm your daughter. Where does that put me?
Kind of. Like, she's not super keen on the women folk.
Would she ever talk to Peter and ask Peter questions or advice while you're in the room, and she could easily ask you the very same question?
Yeah, oh no, she says things like, he has an important job and I don't understand what you do, which, I mean, that's a fair call. I don't understand what most people do for a job, but I think that's absolutely fine. But there is something else underneath it. Anyway.
I think it's hard to know how I would respond in the same situation, because it is just something that my mother would never say.
Right.
So I have childhood memories of her sitting on me and wrestling pants on me because I was I wanted to be like the girls across the road who had really neat hair and always wore matching dresses. Like that
beating the feminism into
like
you.
That was ever going to happen. Like the neat hair, whatever, dresses. Anyway, and I was starting to say, I will not wear pants. I will only wear dresses. And Mum actually, she physically sat on me whilst I had a tantrum, and she wrestled pants on me, yelling at me that I was not going to be a princess. So it's very hard to imagine that.
Yeah, we could have done a swapsy. We could have done an absolute swapsy. I remember throwing myself down a hallway in a very tight Liberty print dress that my mum had hand smocked. And it was so scratchy. Like, I can't tell you. It just scratched. Like, I had a rash every time I wore it. And a Peter Pan collar that went all the way to England.
Gross.
It was mortifying. And
the Peter Pan collar is the thing that put the kibosh on dresses for me.
I love the fact that it went to England. It didn't go anywhere else. It went all the way to England.
It might have gone to Oxford. Might have gone to Lewis Carroll's home. Yeah. And then I was throwing myself down a hallway, absolutely mortified. This is the mid-'80s. Why can't I at least have a geometric pattern here and a couple of buttons down the side with some open bits? No, it was mortifying. And but my mum had made all these.
Why did you throw
dresses.
yourself down the hallway?
I think in the hope to rip the dress up. Well, I was just being a bit dramatic.
Or maybe just being dramatic.
Yeah. Just like, I don't know, throwing myself down a rabbit hole.
Rending.
To do Alice in Wonderland or something. I still wore the dress, all right? I had nothing else. I didn't have any pants, except my godmother bought me a pair of pink, Just Jeans overalls. I'll never forget that.
Oh.
And that was radical because she only ever wore pants as well. I found that very exciting.
Yeah. Well,
But they were secret.
yeah. But the thing about the dress is, because I'm quite partial to a dress now, but it's mainly because I have to put less thought.
Yeah,
If there's
it's
one
breezy.
item
Yeah.
that has to go on, and underwear. It's always good to remember that. But apart from, so once
Not obligatory.
yeah, once you put the underwear on, you don't have to think about anything. Like it's just one, and preferably kind of like a smocky caftan situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
the
a
sack.
dress like that I actually don't worry about underwear with. But no one needs to know about that. It goes
That
to
checks out.
No one
checks
wants to
out.
know that.
No, well, we know it now.
That I went to this 80s party, right, last night.
Oh, I did see the photo. You looked amazing.
And I was going to tell you, the dress is the very dress that my mum always wore when she was going out. And it was like my dream to wear this beautiful dress. And it has this sort of plunging neckline and it's sparkly, it's black and gold. And it has this, as I noticed, an insane split up the front with a little sort of twist in the middle.
Like
I put it on.
split up from each angle.
Yeah,
Like,
from the top
up
and the bottom,
down.
right? And all I remember, I always remember her smelling of like, Gervian perfume and putting on a little strappy sandals with a French bun, and she was out the door, right? Anyway, I just always my dream to wear this dress. I put it on, and I never felt so freaking dowdy in all my life because it's totally see through. And I'm like I didn't even have a bra. I'm like, I don't even have a black bra to wear under this. I'm trying to put these old beige things. And I'm like, I can't wear my Bonds undies under this. This is mortifying. My mum must have been naked all the time. She was so saucy. She was so wild.
When you say the front slit, if you want to call it that,
It was
like the split. Like how high does it go up the thigh?
Oh, right up, mate.
If you had camel toe, could you see it?
Well, you don't have camel toe because you're not wearing any knickers. That's why.
No, but
So it's just full. It's slit goes into slit.
Yeah,
it's, just full
it's got a little bit
badge.
of overlap. It's got a little bit of
Yeah.
overlap. There's a slight, but anyway, it's very, very saucy. But my boobs were hanging down, and I took one look at myself. I was like, oh my God, I think my mum must have worn this when she was 10 years younger than me.
Was she single? Was it her like I'm going to get lucky in the 80s dress?
Or what was going on? Like, what kind of parties were they going to, my parents? And we were running late. We're desperately
I can
trying to
tell
get
you
over
what
the
kinds
river.
of parties.
I know, right?
Where sets of keys went into a bowl.
There were keys.
Yeah.
Keys were flying.
that was my first thought. But I mean,
I know. And we got to this party, and of course we were a little bit late. But we did. I said to Cal, look, this is okay. My parents would have been at least an hour later. Like, if this is a real 80s, we'd be at least an hour later. We'd be 3 gin and tonics in. The kids would probably be asleep in the car.
oh yeah, or no, we were always asleep in some stranger's double bed.
That's
Or
right.
under a table. Yeah.
Or kicking each other. My brother and I actually. It's not-
Exactly.
yeah.
And we would have sent them off to get a packet of Benson and Hedges while we had an argument in the car. Like, that would have been the dream.
So how was it?
It was great. It was really great. I was telling Victoria about it. And you know what? Everyone was dressed so beautifully. They had this shimmery makeup and they had the big hair and everyone and all the guys were dressed like, but a little bit sort of Wall Street, that kind of vibes,
yeah.
Pinstripe.
with braces and things like that. And we had they had dinner out in the garden and there were bats swooping overhead. But we did bring a present, and this is what I wanted to ask you guys. We did bring a present that is a tree that is going to grow to 4 meters high.
Oh. And cause extensive root damage to their
Exactly.
body,
And I was
maybe.
like, listen, guys, we've got this beautiful plant, 40th birthday. I wanted to remind you of America, where you're from, Ben, and I've got you a Japanese maple that's going to change colour.
Okay.
Anyway, we gave them this tree, and even as I'm driving, we bought the tree. We're in the car. I'm actually sitting in the back of the car, desperately still trying to do, thankfully, smudgy 80s makeup. And and the tree is in the front seat because the tree is lying down all the width of our hatchback.
When you say it's going to get to 4 meters,
Yeah.
how big is it now?
It's now about...
How tall is it now?
It's taller than me. So it's like it's 2 meters.
And was their party in an apartment?
They've got a great garden, but it's mostly like a vegetable garden, right? And like a few little fig trees. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
right?
No, you're forcing like horticulture on them.
That's right. So
Yeah.
here's my question to you. And as I'm getting a text going, is there a smaller version? Because I was checking it. with Chris Tyler. I was like, oh no, well, there might have been, but the shop's shut now. And it'll be beautiful. And it's not, it's going to be letting all these beautiful autumn
What
leaves.
kind of tree is it?
It's a Japanese maple. It's like really beautiful tree.
Oh, yeah, I know the one.
Yeah, really beautiful. Requires a lot of water. Very bad for the environment. We're driving through Coburg. Everything else is a native. Every other tree, like everyone has, ecologically sound trees. No, we're going to drain the aquifers and create a drought with this tree. But what do you do when you give a present to somebody? Do you check that it's the right thing to get? Their faces kind of dropped. They went, "What is that?" And I was like, happy birthday. Just give it a little bit of water. Wrong present.
Are you going to end up, well, firstly, I think that you're going to end up with a Japanese maple tree in your front garden.
Exactly.
Don't you have one already?
Well, we don't. But as we were leaving at 12:30, like unlike my parents, like we were the nerdiest people there. The party was just kicking off. And Cal's like, that, wild drinks and party things are being offered around. And Callan was like, "Oh, sorry, I've got a heart condition." And I was like, "We're having kids over for a play date tomorrow." I will have that. Has anyone got a peppermint tea? We were those people.
You brought East Malvern to Coburg and then
You certainly did.
you took it back.
When you were describing all of the vegetation as in this other neighbourhood, I'm just like, oh, I can see it. Like,
It's so mortifying. It was mortifying. And as
in terms of what you would do, like what would I do?
Yeah.
What do I think is the right thing to do? I think it's good to check, but not to check with the person who is receiving the gift.
No,
I
absolutely
really
not.
dislike the whole kind of like pre-planned, like I have been involved in other families' Christmases where there's a situation where everybody has already talked about what they're going to get each other for Christmas. Like, and you have to sort of have this conversation and then you just sort of like get that on Christmas Day. So
You wouldn't even wrap it up. It'd be like,
it's usually just get me a voucher to Lululemon or something. Like it's kind of, whatever. It's sort of, and I find that kind of gift giving I'm not so into, but I think it is very thoughtful to question someone who is perhaps adjacent or closer to the receiver.
you want a surprise though. Don't you want a surprise?
No, because my surprises haven't gone very well. I'm terrible. I've been told I'm very difficult to buy for. Which
that does actually not surprise me. And
the jury.
I'm going to take that and say that's why I don't think I've ever bought you a Christmas card.
Which is probably the wisest way through because Peter, like I've absolutely lost my rag about some presents. Like I think I got, like Mother's Day and my birthday are quite close together. I don't know why he goes so hard on the Christmas, like the general gift giving thing. So Mother's Day I got some pajamas and then on my birthday I got more pajamas, a blanket, and some hand cream. And I'm like, what am I, 90? Like, it's like, just, are we getting a lift up and down the stairs next? Like, what is this?
Yeah, next year you're getting an inclinator.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then,
Sexy.
so I just said, look, these pajamas are really expensive. Like, can you please take them back? I already have some from like the most recent one. Like I couldn't take them back because it was on his card, And also I didn't want anything else from the store because it's like a pajama only store. And I was like, just please go and get me some perfume of this exact type. But then like if I leave it open or I tell him, he just decides like, well, you don't want those things. You won't like them when you get them. And then he went to, there's like a whole story, but anyway, he went to Joe Malone, which I like their perfume, took the child, right? And then they were like, smelling everything and the child goes, this is the exact one. And it's like the perfume that I find the most disgusting there. It's called like pomegranate noir or something. And then the woman's like, this is really expensive. So Peter's like, I'm going to get the most expensive one because she questioned his ability to pay. Like $300 worth of perfume that smells disgusting. And I'm like, why are you letting the child make the decision? Like, I like floral citrus things and this is
But
like...
he likes sandpits.
But also,
Anyway, I took it back.
and the smell of his own farts, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff from Aesop, and that was lovely. But anyway,
I think also that's a very, like that puts you in quite a difficult position, Victoria, because did you say to your child, your taste sucks?
No.
It smells disgusting.
I like opened it and went, that's great. And then I looked at Peter and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then just quickly put it away and he'll never notice it again. But, and that's the other time they got me a very expensive 3-in-1 charger from JB Hi-Fi.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
And I was like, no one wants it.
Does anyone go, how's the present going? You enjoying it? Okay. Oh, the 3-in-1 charger.
3-in-1 charger.
It charges three things at once.
It's like $250. It's like,
I've never had a double adapter like it.
No, it's
anyway, I went back and got myself a massage gun. Anyway, so look, maybe I'm the problem.
I'm just thinking, you're so lucky. This is great. These are great gifts. But I must admit, it reminds me of a few unsolicited vibrators I've been given by people. Yeah, I've been given a few, actually. And that's very flattering.
Are they by people you know? Or
saying you need to unwind more? Exactly. Like, what are they saying?
That is exactly what
You're
they're saying.
uptight.
They're saying I'm uptight, and I don't know why. But you know what? You know what the problem is, Victoria? I don't have a 3-in-1 charger. So they're always asking me, how's your present? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I go,
out of bat.
oh, I love it. I just haven't been able to charge it up.
next time, you've actually got to get me a 3-in-1 charger. I do think a 3-in-1 charger sounds a bit like, it's all a bit rude, really.
It's not much. It's not right. So it was for, like, Apple devices.
Vibrators.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Vibrators.
Don't worry about it.
I need to have all my vibrators charged at all times.
You might need one for each. Well, you got a massage gun now as well. Like,
yeah, I mean that's essentially a vibrator. That's what people. That's how people look at it. It's like, wow, that looks a bit of an aggressive.
When you bought it, did the guy give you a bit of a wink over the counter?
No,
because in kind of like massage gun. Have fun with that. Eh?
It's a big one. It's the biggest one we sell.
Very popular, these ones.
No, I weirdly had a conversation with a guy at a popular retailer and he was telling me that he was like a podiatrist in his spare time or something, or some kind of allied health professional. And he was so helpful. He was like, don't get an expensive one. This is fine. But the main thing is consistency. I did discover the reason I was having extreme leg cramps was dehydration, which is another thing I'm not very good at, is drinking water. Remember when I was in Africa with you, Bunsen, and I was not feeling very well? It's because I just refused to drink water for a few days. I don't know what was wrong.
That's what I'm getting. I'm getting you a water bottle or a Camelback. I'm going to get you a Camelback, Victoria.
Those things are great. That's how I discovered that I was actually dehydrated my entire life. It's I had to, I'm sure I've told you this. I had a job where we had to be outside a lot in the heat.
You got a Camelback.
And they gave us Camelbacks, which are those kind of like, they're like a little
bladder.
Yeah. Have a bladder. I hate the way they're called bladder. But the best thing about it is they have this plastic tube that kind of comes over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And then you can suck on it to get the water. But the only way, you have to bite and suck at the same time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And because I didn't have to faff around with a bottle, get a lid off, keep track of it, all I had to do was just reach around, bite and suck.
Bite and suck the teat. You have to suck the teat.
I actually drank more water than I ever had before, and I felt so much better. And I realised I'd been dehydrated my entire life.
Wow.
I then put the Camelback to great effect because there was also quite a lot of drinking on that job. We were all living away from home.
I see where this is headed.
Hang it on the edge of my bed after a big night. And again, being able to just roll over, bite and suck. I'll tell you what.
That's great. The only thing that would have been better is if you could put an intravenous needle on it and just like jam it in your arm after a really big night. Like I thought
you were going to say you filled it with booze and played a game known as Goon of Fortune.
Yeah, with you spinning around in the middle.
No.
That's just given me a great idea. So I think, I'm never going to, the things that I'm taking from this conversation are, I am never going to buy Victoria a gift.
Don't.
And if I do,
give me the receipt.
It's going to just be like a huge empty vessel that can contain water.
That's right.
Yes.
That's pretty much.
It's reminding me of a gift that you have given very good gifts.
Don't say that. I've never given Victoria a gift.
You've made some really good gifts though. I remember you made me some underpants that
Yeah.
said, when I was being a police sergeant, I was feeling very insecure. And you thought, you know what, I'm going to give her something that makes her feel secure underneath this police outfit. It said, I think it said, Caro,
No, it says the sergeant wears the pants.
Tess wears the pants. And on the arse, it said the sergeant wears the pants. And so I just wear them when I was feeling a little bit, unsure of myself. And I felt great. I felt really good. And you'd hand printed these undies for me. I mean, that's a massive effort.
You also didn't the main thing I recall is that sergeant was misspelled.
Sergeant was misspelled. There was that, but also
Sargent.
it was it wasn't even Sergeant. I was like, it was sergeant. I was like, I don't care about the spelling. Spelling was great.
I think it was an American spelling.
Yeah,
I'd like to say.
That's all right.
Anyway.
But then they said, look, we really, you're doing okay. This is like the first weeks of this job. But the only thing is, we can see, maybe go to the costume department and talk to them about your underwear because
Visible panty
we
line.
can see a visible panty line. And I was like, what do you mean? I don't even know what you're talking about.
VPL, that was such a catchphrase back in the day. No one hears about VPL anymore because no one wants that kind of crotch slicing mechanism up their clacker anymore.
No, I've got them all in a rolled up, balled up in a little drawer at the back of my.
You could use them as an eye patch, maybe. That's about as much fabric as they have in them.
Exactly.
That's all they would be good for.
The sergeant wears the thong. I don't think you were going to write that. Where would you print it? There's no fabric.
Now I'm going to be Googling how do you spell sergeant. How do you Google a word you don't know how to spell?
I reckon we should wrap up. But I would just say, out of what we've learnt today,
Yes.
our learnings.
What are our key learnings?
Our key learnings are that Victoria has no couth when it comes to receiving
No, she's
gifts.
wildly uncouth.
So uncouth.
Extremely uncouth with her mother. And I hope that that her mum's feeling all right about that.
I think she just swept it under the carpet.
I think she'd be used to it, actually.
Caroline exposed herself at an 80s party. She was pretty uncouth.
right.
And I think I've come out as
Scot-free.
probably having the most couth out of the three of you today.
A Japanese maple would look great at the front of your apartment.
I'm actually, well, as you know, it would actually just die.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know.
That just solves everyone's problems.
Listen, I think there's hope for you, Bunsen. I think you can come back and be the most uncouth.
Yeah.
I think I basically am. So that's why I'm starting off this position so that
strong.
I've got somewhere to go.
Well, I did want to award it a So Uncouth of the Week, something that might eclipse both of us,
Cool.
and that would be to Barnaby Joyce. Have you guys seen this? He's an Australian politician
Yes.
who was captured on video lying on the pavement drunk.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Recently.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't have heard this, Caroline.
They don't let us read news like that here.
So he was lying on a footpath in Canberra, legs up on a planter box, which had clearly just fallen over, and he's on the phone. There may not be anyone on the other end. You know how some people, when they're really blackout drunk, they're on a inverted commas phone call, and he's like dropping F and C bombs, and just lying there. His defense was, if he knew something that he was being filmed, he would have gotten up quicker. That was it.
But kept all the dialogue. Keep all that in priceless.
No, nothing. That's the only
Yeah,
issue.
yeah.
He was just on the ground for too long. I wondered whether he thought the pavement was a staffer, and he just sort of fell onto her.
He's really the only reason why I am not leading this country right now. Because it is for moments like that go, there's no way that I could go into politics.
Because you've done so much of it.
You've already worn out a few pavements.
I would just continue doing stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of go, in a way, that's not great, Barnaby. But
yeah.
I feel like he's created such a low bar for himself. People are just going, yeah, that's sort of on brand. That checks out. Like, there's nothing out of order here.
No.
That seems completely standard procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll get a very much everyone makes mistakes vibe. And in fact, people could actually
Like him more.
a certain sector of his supporters could bolster support.
For this week, he's the patron saint of So Uncouth. And Bunsen, you can come back to try and take the mantle next time. I feel like you've got it in you.
That there's a lot of uncouth activities that can be revealed, I'm sure.
There's always scope.
See
See ya.
later.
Cop, yes.